The Guilty from 1947 was an edgy crime film about two guys who served together in the war and are sharing an apartment, and we see their relationship with twin women. Now, one of whom is good while the other one is trouble. However, the nice one is murdered, and suddenly there's a mystery of who did it. Let me just say this one was pretty wild with a twist ending I did not see coming. So I'll keep the summary very brief here, no spoilers, and then I'll get some closing thoughts about this one. So the film opens up with the character of Mike Carr, played by actor Don Castle. He shows up at a bar, orders a couple beers, and he's going to wait for the character Estelle Mitchell, a woman he hasn't seen in a long time since her twin sister Linda had been murdered. So he sits there, he has his drink, and we head into a flashback sequence. So Mike shares a room with the character Johnny, actor Wally Castle, who had been dating Estelle until he discovered that she was seeing other guys, so he dumped her and started seeing her twin sister Linda. Both Estelle and Linda are both played here by actress Bonita Granville. Now, Estelle is more of the wild character, while Linda is the sweet one, it would seem. Now, Johnny is struggling with a war injury, and he has these nervous breakdowns, so Mike is there to help him through these. Now, Johnny and Linda have a good thing going. Estelle was jealous and wanted him back and was determined to break them up. At the same time, she's also seeing Mike, who seems resistant to her charms. So, all this to say is the relationships of this film are a little convoluted, with ultimately both twins wanting Johnny. Well, a little later, Estelle calls Mike to say that Linda never came home that night and she's reported missing. Johnny returns home later, drunk and a little frantic, realizing he might be in trouble, and he begs Mike to be his alibi. The police arrive and, checking the scene, find a buckle from Linda's trench coat on the floor at Johnny's apartment, and soon after they discover Linda's body in the building, so Johnny's brought in for questioning. Later, Mike finds another buckle outside of McGinnis's bar, so then he confronts Johnny, his friend, and tells him, maybe his memory has failed on the night of the murder. So Mike is starting to get a little suspicious of Johnny and his mental spells, but when the police arrive to arrest Johnny, Mike helps him escape. So Detective Heller, played by actor Regis Toomey, takes Mike to the morgue and shows him Linda's body, and tells him in grisly detail all about her death, basically that she had been choked and pushed, while still alive, into a trash incinerator chute. Man, I thought this was pretty grisly for a 1940s movie, but thankfully we never see any of it. We only hear the detective's description. So, obviously Mike is sickened, but he can't believe his friend would do such a thing. He talks with Estelle on the rooftop, and of course she professes her love for him at this point, but he seems kind of unmoved. He's too weighed down by what has happened to Linda. But was it Johnny? Who could do something so fiendish and grisly? Well, no more summary, because you need to see this wild ending for yourself. Honestly, when the film ended, I didn't see it coming, so this one, it's worth checking out. You can find it online on YouTube. I have it linked in the description below. So some closing thoughts. The Guilty was released in 1947. It's a crime film directed by John Reinhardt. It was based on Cornell Woolrich's short story, He Looked Like Murder. Woolrich was, of course, a writer known for noir stories involving themes of paranoia, dread, and fate. And that's all definitely here. By the way, he also wrote the short story It Had to Be Murder, which would later become the basis of Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window in 1954. That's actually a film I'm hoping to review this year, once I get past my YouTube copyright strike. But anyhow, the film was produced by oil millionaire Jack Rather, who was married to lead actress Bonita Granville. Additionally, Rather attended the University of Texas with star Don Castle. So my thoughts on this one was, wow, this was a wild late 1940s crime film. I mean, you watch the film, you get to the end and you think, oh, that was something. But again, no spoilers, you got to see for yourself. I mean, the film has everything going for it that I love, that makes for a good, punchy crime film. You know, there's a murder, there's a man on the run, he's trying to help out a friend. You got the guy with the questionable mental state. You've got plenty of red herrings. You got some romance with a sketchy femme fatale. You've got flashbacks, shadowy cinematography, all the things that I love. I don't know, though. To me, though, the film never really seemed to pay off. It just moved forward with this gradual pacing and leads to an ending that you just don't see coming. But that's not to say I didn't enjoy the film. I really did, actually. I love the look and feel of this film, the acting, and especially that late night atmosphere through the film. You know, it feels like the film is always nighttime. It's just that the film resolves itself in an oddly uncomfortable way. Like, that's it? What? Again, watch it for yourself. Maybe I'm missing something and you can tell me off in the comments. But here are some of the things that I did enjoy from the film. I mean, as the film opens up, it's got this ominous opening credit music as we see Don Castle's character walking through a rainy city at night. I love it. And speaking of, I did like John Castle's performance, how he's this trapped character with his voiceover kind of driving the film. So we primarily follow his character through the story. But I will admit I had a hard time connecting with him emotionally, with him or any of the characters from the story for that matter. Usually with a crime film, even if the lead is an anti-hero, you still sort of have a connection to them, is what I find. You know, it could be a criminal bad guy who's robbed a bank, and, you know, you still believe in them, and you sort of want them to succeed, even as a bad guy. But I never really felt that connection here with this character, even on the second watch. I don't know, I can't quite place it. He seems like a decent actor. I haven't honestly seen Don Castle in much before. It's said he has a resemblance to Clark Gable, which I can kind of see. But let me know if you have some other good films that you could recommend that you've seen him in. I think that the story device of twin characters, and I know it's been used a lot through the years, but it worked pretty well in this film. You know, I think of films like The Dark Mirror from 1946, a thriller with Olivia de Havilland playing twin characters. So yeah, it's been done a lot, but it's an interesting trope to me because it opens up a lot more possibilities when there's a murder. Namely when you have a good twin and a bad twin, a little bit of the sibling rivalry going on, you know, that sort of thing. Bonita Granville did a fine job playing the two sisters, Linda and Estelle, showing the differences in their personality and kind of helping draw the distinction between the two. And she's another performer I don't think I've seen before I watched this film, but she was excellent here. To me, there's a slight Anne Savage look to her. Maybe it's those eyebrows. Bonita Granville and John Lytell, who also co-starred in this film, had previously worked together in a Nancy Drew film series from the late 1930s. Lytell played her father in that one, but in this film, he's just a notably creepier character. So again, the story here is a little wild and might have you watching the film a couple times like I did, just to put it all together. But you know, there's still a lot to enjoy here. Good performances, some really great crime visuals, the moody lighting, and the nighttime streets and so on. In fact, the entire film has that eerie nighttime feel. It's just crazy. I thought this was a good noir and definitely not what I expected, but it was still a very enjoyable crime film, and I think it's one worth checking out.